I'm Ashish Tulsian. I run a tech company. Not very long back, though I feel now it was long back because I was just told that जिसको मैं long back or not very long back बोल रहा हूँ, वो आपका birth year है. So this is about ownership mindset, and I'll tell you what is the premise of this conversation. I've always been an entrepreneur as far as I can remember. मैंने अपना पहला startup 10th class में करने की कोशिश की थी. मेरे mind में तो मैंने कर भी दिया था. But my dad being my dad, he first agreed with me, supported me, and then systematically after coming on your side pulled back. तो दुश्मन से हमेशा ध्यान रखना चाहिए, कभी कभी वो साथ आके भी गड़बड़ कर देता है. I tried to actually create a competitor to, in those days Google was not there. I'm talking about year 2000 and Yahoo was still the power, yahoo.com. I'm sure you guys don't even know that. But Yahoo was the power, so I built a business plan to beat Yahoo. And I and and I as a 10th grader I registered a domain called youthhangama.com. And I started building a full business plan. My father invested some money on it to shut me down, and then basically said, "See, I've spent this money. Now I'm on your side." I said, "Fair." He said, "Now you listen to me." I said, "Okay." And he said, "वही वाला statement, एक बार 10th कर ले." So this was basically sold to me. The point I'm trying to deliver here is that I was trying to be an entrepreneur as far as I can remember. I found myself in college within the next 3 years, 11, 12. So engineering coaching में निकल गया. And I found myself in the first year of college, and my same dream, came back, and I was like, no, this is not for me. 6 महीना बहुत मस्ती कर ली, बहुत chill कर लिया, but फिर लगा कि अगले 4 साल यही chill repeat होने वाला है, and I thought that this is going to be really boring. So I started building something again, and this time, succeeding was not optional because one, I didn't have another job. Two, I did not want to take a job, and it was less about me looking down upon job, and it was more about me trying to build something of my own, and I'm trying to, and I'm going to share that mindset today with all of you. The premise of this conversation is that आप सभी लोग, whoever is sitting here, you are going to be successful in life. You will find success anyway. The fact that you entered this college, the fact that you're going to, go through this for next couple of years, you are above 99.99% people in India already, right? Nobody needs to tell you that today. But the problem is that 99.99% of you will not really find the extreme roaring success in your life. And by extreme roaring success, what I mean is, आपको एक बहुत अच्छा पैकेज मिल जाएगा, पर वो जो fuck you money होती है ना, I'm sorry, वो that absolute stupid money. Like for example, आज की डेट में 1 करोड़ का पैकेज is good enough? Correct. But 10 crore or 50 crore per year income is stupid money, right? That money cannot be spent. It's very hard to comprehend that money. 99.9% people sitting in this room will never get that. Will never get to that. You don't need to be confused about it. You cannot get to that. No possibility. You will do well in your careers, but you will not reach that. You will grow through the ranks of whatever you are doing. You will become a good player in your industry. You will have like a VP or a president or a director or you will have titles. But 99.99% of you will not become like the top dog in whatever you do. One, because 0.01% की positions है, तो जीतेगा तो एक ही. But most of us will not really make that. And today I want to talk about what is the difference between that third, that second, and the top. What is that difference between, good money, great money, and stupid money? What is the difference between social success of a kind where people bow down and say कि हाँ आपके तो पर भी होते होंगे, आप उड़ते भी होंगे, आपका तो कुछ भी हो सकता है, that kind of success in any field. And in my experience in last 19 years of running business, observing my own self, observing people who I'm inspired by, what I figured is that there's only one difference. The difference is the mindset of ownership. That beats every possible skill in this world. You will meet a lot of skilled people in your life. All of you are going to be greatly skilled. I have no doubts about it. Skill definitely brings a lot of value in your life. But what takes it many notches higher is when you're actually owning your own circumstances, when you're owning your life. And what does that mean? Great thing about Steve Jobs' photo and quote is that you can put it on any slide and say anything and it makes sense. But I'm not going to talk about what Steve Jobs did. We all know Steve Jobs is an argument killer, the greatest, the god of our times. But what, to me, Steve Jobs is the ownership. The fact that he not only built a product but built a legacy that he owned. He actually fought. If you go in the history, you will see that he was fighting the behemoths of that time. He was almost fighting IBM kind of companies when they were the IBM. आज जितना बड़ा आपको Apple दिखता है, उतना ही बड़ा IBM था उस समय. Think about, any of you starting a computer company today, starting an operating system today. And he fought it because he owned that thought, he owned that market, he owned that design philosophy, he owned that, product philosophy. Can you switch? Can you guess? No. Can you guess what is this? Looks like an old calculator. Yeah. This was the small computer that powered Apollo's mission to moon. This computer was called Apollo Guidance System. The next slide. Yeah. It was called the Apollo Guidance System. Can you click again? Yeah. This computer had 72 KB memory. Your stupid phone has 512 GB. And still, moon happened. And I'm not getting into the technicality of it. But this happened because somebody took the ownership of that mission. वो cliched, saying some सुनते हैं वो पंखों से नहीं हौसलों से उड़ान होती है, but सच ये है कि सच यही है. इसका और कोई parallel है ही नहीं, इसका और कोई answer ही नहीं है, because I have seen people succeeding in life just because they owned a certain circumstance, because they owned that goal, because they said that there is no other way. It has to happen. I don't have a plan B, and I'm not interested in a plan B. And this, we are going to make it happen no matter how many times we fall. There's another side of it. A lot of people, how many of you keep, watching these reels, manifestation? Huh? The funny thing about manifestation? It works when you work. Only manifestation doesn't work. And that part is about owning the manifestation. 99.99% people will not succeed with that big, hairy, audacious goal because they don't own it. अगर आज रोड पे चलते हुए किसी भी आदमी से आप पूछें कि मर्सिडीज एस क्लास किसको पसंद है यहाँ पे, अगर मैं आप में से किसी को वो दूं तो आप लेंगे? कितने की है? नहीं 4 करोड़ की है. चलो कोई बात नहीं, 4 करोड़ की मान लेते हैं, गलत है वैसे तो, बट सह लेंगे. वी जस्ट नीड अ बिग नंबर. अगर मैं आपको अभी 4 करोड़ रुपए दे दूं तो पहली परचेज क्या करोगे आप उसमें से? मर्सिडीज का क्या हुआ? Fact is this, and this is something that you should internalize. When I asked you that do you want a Mercedes S-Class, you said yes. Said if I give it to you, will you take it? You said yes. But as soon as I said if I give you an equivalent amount, what will you buy? You said stocks. You know the funny thing? This is exactly why that Mercedes S-Class will never happen to you. Stocks will. And this is about the art of owning your life. The art of owning your life is really about owning your thoughts. It's not about having the right thoughts or the wrong thoughts. It's not about having the right goals or the wrong goals. It's not about having the right answers or the wrong answers. The art of owning your life is really about owning what you said, no matter what the outcome is. उन लोगों की सक्सेस मैंने कम होती हुई देखी है जो जीतने के लिए भाग रहे थे. मैंने उन सभी लोगों को जीतते हुए देखा है जो खेलने के लिए भाग रहे थे. And I think, as I said, it is an absolute pleasure to speak after Praveen, because I think I resonate so much with what he was, talking about, and he talked about that till the time pressure was not there, he was performing very differently. And if you think about it, the entire conversation that Praveen had was not a story of high jump. Did you realize that in his entire story, he did not talk about the technique and the practice and what training is required, what part of the muscle and what is used, and he did not talk about that. The entire life was about managing parents, teachers, instructors, getting the coach, getting the mindset, balancing the pressure, and having that goal that I want to do that, but at the same time, creating that balance that I want to play, and I don't want to play to only win. Sorry, what is this? No, please go back. Okay. I'll give you a couple of examples from my life on ownership. What does lack of ownership look like? And this is the part where I believe for next 2 minutes, if you're with me in this room, I hope that this may not land on some of you today. But if it is not landing, just keep it with you. Couple of years down the line, it will percolate drop by drop. The life of lack of ownership is actually the worst life. This lack of ownership brings you to victimization. आपको बेचारगी की जिंदगी कुछ इस तरीके से मिलती है. I want to do so much in the college, but professors are not giving the attendance, or professors are not agreeing, to do that. Coach is not agreeing to get me in. Society is not accepting me. That president is not allowing me to volunteer in this and that and this and that. And you basically are blaming continuously everything in this world, everybody in this world except you. And that is a by default lack of ownership life. This translates and starts from my dad did not allow me to do something, my mom did not allow me to do something. It starts from my tuition teacher, my school teacher, my neighbors are not allowing me to do that. It further goes up. You're going to go and join jobs today, tomorrow. You're going to start businesses tomorrow. Some of you will become professional service providers, and you will have the same problem. This company is bad. This culture is bad. They are making me do extra work. They are not letting me leave. This guy and this lady is obnoxious. हमने तो सबसे सुना ही है already. ये तो ऐसी ही है. ये तो ऐसा ही है. दिमाग खराब कर रखा है. This client is bad. Somebody spoke to me badly. I felt offended. वैसे तो आज मैं बिल्कुल ready था सब कुछ करने के लिए. उसने मेरा mood खराब कर दिया. मेरा performance खराब हो गई. What is this? This is not only victimization. This stems from lack of ownership. When you don't own what you're doing, when you don't own the outcome of what you're doing, when you are not ready for that, everything in this world is going to affect you. And it does affect you. It definitely does. The side of ownership, and if you want to convert that into ownership, that is, if you're in college and you want something from a professor, and that professor is known to be the most obnoxious figure, unlike the ones who are sitting here, you have one job. Your job is to fix your relationship with them. Your job is to figure out their buttons. Your job is to figure out what pleases them, what works for them, what doesn't irk them, and how to get your way. You call it diplomacy, I call it ownership. Because I'm so clearly goal-oriented that nothing can come in between. And I'll share one story. I was in IP University. I was doing my BTech from Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Engineering. And I started my company in second year of college. I managed my attendance. And you are in DU. Nobody cares here. Please don't cry in case I'm wrong. But in our college, the running joke was that trespassers attend 5 classes. So it was really a big school. It was not a college. And I somehow managed my attendance from here and there and jugaad. 2 saal tak ye jugaad chalta raha. 4th year, placement time. By that time, I already have a small telecom value-added services company doing well for myself. College doesn't know. I don't go to college. I have my girlfriend who I meet Monday to Friday in the evening in the college. That's my only attendance in the college. So technically my attendance is 0. She's my wife today. So. And one day I got a call from the college, and I've never received a call from the college. And like Ashish Tulsian, and I'm sleeping. And I'm like, yeah, who's that? So calling from the college. Where are you? So I'm coming, and I reach my college, and training and placement cell head, this fearsome old Bengali gentleman, extremely pissed with me, and ready to pounce upon me as soon as like Ashish gone. So I entered, and I'm still wondering what did I do, because I didn't have anything to do with this man. So, and I thought that I was a great guy for him. I didn't want placement. His problem is placement. Problem solved. So he asked me, he said, where were you on Thursday? And I was in Bangalore. So I said I was in Bangalore. And as soon as I said that, I was like, shit, college ka bachcha Bangalore kyun ja raha hai? Kya samjhaunga abhi main? So he said, you were in Bangalore? For what? And I said, for some work. And bolte hi mujhe laga ki, hey Bhagwan. And he was like, you were in Bangalore for work. I said, yes. He said, and on Thursday, Infosys visited the college. You know that? I said, yes. He said, and you did not sit in the basement. I said, no. He said, and you had work. I said, yes. And then, of course, after like, there was a 10-minute monologue, which was like, lecture, lanat, all directions, all different types and kinds. And in that moment, he also said something which really horrified me, because he said, I've checked your record. Somehow you are managing your attendance. I now know that you don't attend classes. And if you don't get the placement, I am going to make sure you don't get the degree and you don't get the, whatever, that admit card and everything. And in that moment, I was like, damn, 3 saal kharab kar raha hai aadmi mere. Ek saath. But in that moment, I also owned the fact that I'm running a business. I'm trying to build a company. Both the things are non-negotiable. You know what I did? I took a deep breath and I asked him, sir, I'm doing something. I don't want to talk about it right now, but it's important to me. And these are not the days of, cool startups. These are not the days of Shark Tank. Nobody understands startups. Nobody understands why are you, trying to build something of your own. So it was not easy, communication. But I immediately asked him, and this was just reaction. I said, sir, I really want to do what I'm doing. I don't want a job. I am a little lost on the fact that you want me to have a job, which I am not going to do. What am I missing here? What is it that you want from me? He looked me dead in the eye. He said, you want to deal with me? So I said, no, I'm just trying to tell you that what I'm doing, I'm going to continue doing, but I don't want to disrespect you. I don't want to disrespect this college, but honestly speaking, I don't really care about the degree. At the same time, I've spent 3.25 years here. I would rather, complete this. What do you want? He said, I want you to be placed. I said, why? He said, because it's my 100% attendance record that you are spoiling. I said, oh. I said, okay, so when's the next company coming? He said, ICICI Bank is coming next week. I said, okay, I'll sit in that and I'll take the placement. He said, you are so overconfident, you're obnoxious. I said, okay, let's take a step back. I will sit in ICICI Bank's placement and we'll try to take the placement. He said, yes. So I said, but now you tell me what will you give me? He said, I don't need to give you anything. I said, yeah, but you can, no? I'm at least doing this for you. I can tell you that I'm not going to join ICICI Bank. So the deal was that he's going to take care of my attendance rest of the year. That happened. I took the job in ICICI Bank. ICICI Bank was my customer. People who were coming for the interview were 3 ranks below the people who I used to deal with. But that's a separate problem. The point is that in that moment, when I look back, I was not being smart. I was just owning that circumstance. When I came back and I told my friends the story, everybody was like, you are quick-witted, you are this, you are that, you did this spontaneously. And I was like, nahi, bhai. मैं दौड़ नहीं रहा था, मेरे पीछे सांड भाग रहा था. So you may feel that I'm a great athlete. Bullshit. My life was on fire and I wanted to make sure that I completely own both the circumstances of my life because both of them are my own. College is also my own, degree is also my own, and my business is also my own. What will a life of 2 moments? What will the life of ownership look like? And in case any of this speaks to you, if you don't be a victim, if you don't choose to be a victim in any part and form of your life, it is going to give you a lot of freedom. I think the life of ownership is really about just freedom. You're free from every possible anxiety that you believe कि अरे कुछ हो गया तो क्या होगा, because you own it. You fully take the credit of what you have done. You distribute it amongst people who are working with you or who have helped you. And you take the full ownership of every possible loss that comes your way. मेरी लाइफ में सभी गलतियां मेरी ही हैं and ये virtuous नहीं है. मेरा प्रॉब्लम ये है that मैं सिर्फ अपनी ही ठीक कर सकता हूं, आपकी तो कर ही नहीं सकता ठीक. तो अगर मैं ये बात सोच लूं कि ये गलती आपकी थी तो मुझे डर रहेगा कि ये दोबारा हो सकती है मेरे साथ क्योंकि कोई और फिर कर सकता है. तो आई जनरली मेक श्योर दैट गलती हमारी ही है. एज अ कंपनी कस्टमर के सामने गलती हमारी है. एज अ फाउंडर एम्प्लॉय के सामने गलती मेरी है. एज अ पार्टनर मेरे पार्टनर्स के साथ गलती मेरी है. एज अ फाउंडर मेरे इन्वेस्टर्स के साथ गलती मेरी है क्योंकि द ओनली थिंग दैट आई कैन कंटिन्यूअसली फिक्स, इंप्रूव, इम्प्रोवाइज एंड कंट्रोल इज मी. एंड इफ दैट हैपेंस, you don't need work-life balance after that because when you own your life, there is no work-life balance. There is no work-life balance in life because work and life are not 2 different things. And when you don't own your life fully, that is exactly when you compartmentalize something as work and something as life. Funnily, in the corporate world, everybody is believing that Monday to Friday is work and Saturday, Sunday is life. And they don't see the imbalance in this. So, ye zindagi mein to work-life balance nahi milega. You can hustle guilt-free and you can rest guilt-free because you own it. Because when you own it, and it doesn't mean that you own the business. I work with 150 people, and I can tell you, I have a lot of people who own their stuff so bloody well that they can actually rest guilt-free. They don't need to, ask for anything because they own their job, the outcome so well that everybody just agrees with them. And owners in life have delayed gratification. When you own your life, you don't want everything today. When you own your life, you can wait. When you own your life, you want to do the right thing. When you own your life, you don't hurry up. In fact, whenever good things are happening to you, you take a step back and you tell people, "Aram se." When I go to a restaurant and I order a dish, and chef or the waiter comes and says that थोड़ा time लग रहा है, तो मेरा जवाब होता है लगाइए, जल्दी मत लाइएगा, ठीक लाइएगा. I'm here to have a great meal. I'm not here to have a fast meal. So you take your time. I'm okay with that, and that actually helps. And then you can play the long games. You can play the games which are worth 10 years, 20 years. And if you play the long games worth 10, 20 years, nobody can beat you. And that is exactly where the crazy good success, the stupid money, and the stupid freedom, and being the top dog in whatever you are doing happens. Otherwise, 5th, 6th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd positions are waiting for all of you. Thank you.